Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the Avengers logo. Oh, and by the way, just in case you have any more logo related needs, and I know you do, feel free to check out the card system and the link below down in the description for my logo tutorials playlist. There is a massive variety in there, guys, and I'm sure that you'll be able to find loads of stuff that you'd like. Moving on, if you want to make the Avengers logo, here's what you're going to need. You will need some nether brick and some black wool. And finally, grab yourself some red wool, and once you have each one of these three materials right here, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'll be making it right here, you're going to want to kick off your logo with a single black wool on the floor. Then from that black wool, do an up left diagonal. Then go left by 1. Then do a bottom left diagonal. And go left by 6, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then go up on top of this 6th block by 2. 1, 2. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up on top of that diagonal by 2. 1, 2. Then go right by 1. Then go up by 2. 1, 2. Then go right by 1. And then go up by 3. 1, 2, 3. What you then want to do is take those top 2 blocks and extend them, each going right by 1. 1 and 1. What you then want to do is take this top upper left hand corner of this shape and do an up left diagonal from it. Then go up by 1. Then do an up left diagonal. And go up by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up by 1. Then do 3 upright diagonals, so that's 1, 2, 3. Then go right of that third upright diagonal by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. And go right by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. And go right by 2. 1, 2. Then go down by 2. 1, 2. What you then want to do to connect all the way down to the bottom is repeat this right here. What you now want to do from this second block coming down is do a bottom left diagonal and then go down by 1. And you want to keep repeating that over and over and over again, and you should eventually connect all the way down to the bottom of this logo, and you should connect to it diagonally. And we will connect to that kind of like weird P blocky shape that we made ever so slightly earlier, so we should connect to this shape right here. You guys can see this, and we should form a shape that should look kind of like a feather actually. Once you've reached this point right here, this is what you want to do next. We now want to return it back down to further down this logo. We're looking for this block right here. Once you've located this block, do 2 up left diagonals from it, so that'll be 1, 2. You then want to go up by 1. Then do an up left diagonal. And go up by 2. 1, 2. Then do an up left diagonal. And go up by 7. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up by 2. 1, 2. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up by 1. Then do 5 upright diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go right of that 5th upright diagonal by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. And go right by 2. 1, 2. Then do an upright diagonal. And go right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What you then want to do once you've made this row of 6 is you want to take this 5th block, this next to the 6th block on the left, go down from it by 2. 1, 2. Then do a bottom left diagonal and go down by 1. And you should connect like this. Once you form this shape, you now want to return to this 6th block right here, and on top of this block, go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal, and go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal, and go right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then go down by 16. That's 1, 6, 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then do a bottom right diagonal. and go down by 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You then, from this 6th block, want to do 4 up left diagonals. So the first one will be here, 1, then 2, 3, 4 up left diagonals. Then go left of this 4th up left diagonal by 1. Then go down by 2. 1, 2. Then go left by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then go up by 2. 1, 2. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. Go up by 1. What you then want to do is, underneath the block that you just placed 1 on top of, you now want to run a row of black all the way down from that block until you connect back to where you first started, and you should end up with a shape that should ultimately look like this. Once you form that shape, this is what you want to do next, guys. So we now want to come back down to here, where we kind of like stemmed from, and from this block that's poking out of the bottom here, we want to do a bottom right diagonal. We then want to go down from that diagonal by 1. Then go left of this block by 1, but also go right of this block by 1. What you also want to do is take this right hand block that we just placed and do an upright diagonal from it. Then go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal. And go up on top of it by 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You then want to do an up left diagonal. Place 1 on top. Then do an up left diagonal. Place 1 on top. Then do 2 up left diagonals. So that's 1, 2. Boom. To form this shape. Once you form this shape, you now want to return all the way back down to where we were just building, which is roughly right about here. And we now want to take this left-hand block that we just placed, and from this left-hand block, we want to do 3 bottom left diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3. We then want to go down by 2. 1, 2. Take this bottom block and extend it right by 1. Then take this block right here, this first one that we placed going down, and go right of it by 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go up on top of it until you connect all the way back to where we were just building, and that should form a cross shape. Now, from the same block that you just went right from, we now want to go left from that very same block, and we want to go left by 2. 1, 2. Then up by 2. 1, 2. Then go left by 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then go down by 1. Then do a bottom left diagonal. Go down by 1. Then do a bottom left diagonal, but also do a bottom right diagonal. From that bottom right diagonal, you want to go right of it until you connect diagonally. Destroy that last block. Connect diagonally back to where you were just building, and you should end up with a shape that should look like this. It kind of looks like a really weird car attached to some stairs. Once you form that shape, you now to connect everything back together now, you want to come all the way over to this single bottom left diagonal that we placed, go down from it by 1, then do a bottom left diagonal. And let me just show you in total what we've made so that we can just piece this together, because the next bit is quite linear. So this is what we want to have so far, guys, and as you can see, we have most of this taken care of. Continuing on, once you've got all of that taken care of, you now want to come all the way down to the very first block that we placed, which is this single lonely black wall block that we have right here. And from this black wall block, we want to go right by 8. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then do an upright diagonal and go right of that diagonal by 2. 1, 2. Then do an upright diagonal and go right by 1. Then do 5 upright diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go up on top of that 5th upright diagonal by 1. Then do an upright diagonal and go up by 2. 1, 2. Then do an upright diagonal and go up by 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And by 6 I mean 7, so add 1 on top of that. Go up by 7 guys, not 6. Once you have went up by 7, you then want to do an up left diagonal and go up by 2. 1, 2. Then do an up left diagonal and go up by 1. Then do 5 up left diagonals. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Connect everything together by going left of that 5th up left diagonal by 1. And the shape that you want to have formed in total should look exactly like this, guys. And this is the outline of your Avengers logo, if you can't tell. Once you've got that taken care of, guys, all we have to do is a little bit of highlighting, or I should say shading, with the nether brick, and then we can fill this thing in. Let's get to it. So once you've reached this point right here, take out your nether brick. With your nether brick, you want to come all the way down to roughly where we first started, and you want to, with your nether brick, start off by doing this. Do 2 nether brick here, 2 nether brick here, 2 nether brick here, and 2 nether brick here. Like this. So you're kind of like tracing along up the inside of the left leg of the A. What you then want to do is, starting from this block right here, you guys can see this block. From this block, do a red wall, going right. Then, with your nether brick, continue going right by 9, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then, do an upright diagonal. Then go right by 2, 1, 2. Then do an upright diagonal, and go right by 1. Then do 3 upright diagonals, so that's 1, 2, 3. Then go up by 1. Then do an upright diagonal and go up by 2. 1, 2. Then do an upright diagonal. This is the shape that you want to have formed, and what you also want to do whilst you're here, guys, is take this block right here, you guys can see the one, go left of it until you connect to the outline. Once you've connected to the outline, you can then feel free to fill in the inside of the shape that you have just made with your nether brick, and this is just a little bit of shadowing that we have underneath the A here, and you should end up with a shape that should look like this. We also have a little bit more to add. So now coming to the bottom part of the arrow shape here, we just want to add 3 nether brick in this position, this position, this position. Right there for the bottom part of the arrow. Like that. Don't worry, we only have 1 patch of this stuff left to do. Once you've done that, you now want to come to the left hand side of your Avengers logo, and starting from this block right here, you guys can see the one, this block, go left by 1 with the nether brick. Then up by 1. Then do an up left diagonal. Go up by 2. 1, 2. Then do an up left diagonal. And go up by 2. 1, 2. Then do an upright diagonal and go up by 1. Then proceed to fill the inside of the shape that you've just made in with nether brick, and you should end up with something that should, in total, guys, look a little bit like this. That wasn't so painful, was it? That is all the shading that we're going to be doing for the Avengers logo. We could go more, but we don't want to go overboard. What we now want to do is just fill the entire rest of this pixel art in with red wool. And that is all we have to do, guys. We just have to fill the entire rest of this pixel art in with red wool, and then that will be that. And I don't suppose that there's anything other to talk about than this. I should probably cut this out and then fill it in off recording, because otherwise I'm just going to be talking about random nonsense. But I suppose we'll talk about random nonsense whilst I fill this thing in, because I do also have to show you which bits you do and don't have to fill in, although it is somewhat obvious, to be honest with you guys. I'm sure if you've ever seen the Avengers logo, you'll know what bits you do and do not leave in. It's basically just an A with kind of like an arrow shape inside a ring, so you can quite easily deduce what you have to, what you do have to, and what you don't have to fill in. Who's your favourite Avenger, guys? I've been wondering about this. I bet that it's Hulk. a lot of people's favourite Avenger seems to be Hulk, and I can't blame you for that. I think that Hulk is a perfectly good Avenger, but I do have the feeling that Hulk seems to be a little bit too powerful. Sure, Black Widow seems to be able to put him to sleep for some random reason, not entirely sure how she gained this power or how they figured this out. Like, how did they figure this out, that a lullaby would work on the Hulk? Did they explain that in the movie? And I just didn't catch it. I'm talking about Age of Ultron, by the way, guys. I'm talking about the second one, not the original. How is that? How did they come about? Were they just in combat one day, and they were just kind of like, I don't know, in like a children's play centre, and a lullaby, a tune came on the radio, or like it was a cassette or something. A cassette? What age are we in? We're in the Age of Ultron. We're not in the age of 40s. So how did that come about? I wonder. That's the only thing that I don't really like about the movie. I'm not sure I entirely agree with the whole putting Hulk to sleep. That doesn't seem to make any sense, but I suppose he's a pretty good Avenger. My personal favourite, just in case you guys are wondering, I kind of like Thor. I'm a big believer in the God of Thunder. I really like him as an Avenger. I don't know what it is about him. He's got some sort of charm. He's strong. He shoots lightning. I like his skill set. And I just... Oh, we've also got to fill this little bit in as well. And I fully endorse everything that he does. I can't wait for the new films, actually. Those can't be too far away. Tell me who your favourite Avenger is, guys. Let me know who this is. But who that is, not who this is. I know who this is. This is the logo. So this is what your logo should look like, guys, once it has been 100% fully filled in. As you can see, it could stand to take a little bit more detail. It could, there's no denying that. But at a certain point, it starts looking a little off. And I think that we've kind of struck the perfect balance here between detail and, well, aesthetics. So if you guys like this, if you've managed to make it, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could give me a like, a favourite, a share, anything you'd feel like doing to help me out, guys. I would just vastly appreciate. You guys know I always appreciate you when you do those things, and show me that you appreciate me by doing those things. Feel free to comment down below. What sort of thing would you like to see next? I'm always up for hearing your guys' suggestions. I always want to know what you guys want me to make. Feel free to check out the card system and the link below down in the description for my other various logo tutorials. There are many of them, and I guess that's probably it. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.